Hello guys, I hope you all are fine. In this video, I will discuss about the abruptio placenta, which is a very important topic from the examination point of view. And this is one of the main cause of antepartum hemorrhage. What is the meaning of abruptio placenta? So it is clear from its name. The meaning of abruptio here is sudden separation of a portion from the mass. So the portion here is placenta and the mass is uterus lining or the wall of the uterus, or we can also say the site of implantation of placenta. So what is abruptio placenta? Sudden separation of a placenta from the uterus lining or the site of implantation. Abruptio placenta is also known as accidental hemorrhage or premature separation of placenta. First of all, its definition. It is one form of antepartum hemorrhage, or we can also say it is one of the cause of antepartum hemorrhage where the bleeding occurs due to premature separation of normally situated placenta. So here the bleeding occurs because the placenta is prematurely separated. And what is the meaning of normally situated placenta? Means the placenta is situated at the upper uterine segment, which is a normal site of implantation of placenta. Next is its varieties, or we can also say its classification or types. So the first classification of abruptio placenta is on the basis of visible blood loss. So on the basis of first classification, there are three types. First one is revealed, second one is concealed, and third one is mixed. So the meaning of concealed is hidden. So it is clear from the name that the blood remains hidden and it does not comes out and visible externally. And in the case of revealed, this is opposite to concealed. Here the meaning of revealed is exposed to others, means the blood comes out and exposed externally. And the left one is mixed. In this, the blood remain concealed and revealed, means some portion of blood is remain concealed while some portion is revealed externally. So first one is revealed. In the revealed type, first of all, these are membranes. In the white color, this is amnion, and in the blue color, this is chorion. These are the membranes. And in the black, the lining, that is known as decidua. In the yellow, this is myometrium. The blood is lie in between the membranes and the decidua, which comes downward in the cervical canal and visible externally. That is known as revealed type. Next is concealed. In this, the blood lies in between the membranes and the decidua, but the blood does not comes downward into the cervical canal and it does not visible externally, but this blood may enters or may percolates into the amniotic sac. This is amniotic sac which has the amniotic fluid. So the blood sometimes may enter into the amniotic sac after rupturing these membranes, that is amnion and chorion. And in the second condition, sometimes this blood may enters into the serosa, which is the outermost layer of the uterus, through the myometrium. And if this blood enters into the serosa through the myometrium, in that case the uterus is known as cochlear uterus. I'll make a separate video on the cochlear uterus. So that is a concealed type in which the blood remains hidden at any cost. It does not comes down in the cervical canal, and it does not visible externally. And one reason behind it may be the presenting part, which is head, present at the lower uterine segment, and because of the pressure exerted by the presenting part over the lower uterine segment, the blood is unable to come in the cervical canal. So this is a concealed type or the hidden type, and the last one is mixed type. In this, the blood remains concealed as well as revealed, but one type is predominates over the other. Like in the first condition, the large amount of blood is remain concealed and the few amount of blood become revealed or becomes visible externally. And in the second condition, few amount of blood remain concealed, but the huge amount of blood become visible outside as the huge amount of blood enters into the cervical canal. So that is known as mixed type, in which the blood remains concealed as well as revealed, but one type is dominated over the others. The second classification of abruptio placenta is on the basis of ultrasonographic examination, ultrasonographic location of placenta. So during USG, that is ultrasonography, three types may revealed. First one is subchorionic hematoma or marginal. Second one is subamniotic or preplacental hematoma, and third one is retroplacental hematoma. So first of all, you should have to see this diagram. This is placenta, this is umbilical cord. The hematoma or the collection of blood before the placenta, that is known as preplacental hematoma, and the accumulation of blood or the hematoma which is formed behind the placenta, that is known as retroplacental hematoma, and the hematoma or the collection of blood which occurs at the margins of the placenta, that is known as subchorionic hematoma. So first one is subchorionic hematoma. So it is clear that why it is known as marginal hematoma, because the hematoma formed at the margins of the placenta. But why it is known as subchorionic hematoma? So this is a membranes in the white, this is amnion and this is chorion. So the hematoma which is formed after the chorion, that is known as subchorionic hematoma. Means the hematoma is formed after the chorion. That's why this is known as subchorionic hematoma. And this is preplacental, so it is clear that it is situated before the placenta. But why it is known as subamniotic? So in the white this is amnion and in the blue this is chorion. So the hematoma is formed after the amnion. That's why this is known as subamniotic hematoma. Here the hematoma is formed between the amnion and chorion, and the hematoma is formed after the amnion. That's why it is known as subamniotic hematoma. And the last one is retroplacental hematoma, in which the hematoma is formed behind the placenta. Where it is formed? So in this diagram you can see if the hematoma is formed here, if the hematoma formed here, this is a hematoma in the red color. So the hematoma which is formed between the placenta and the myometrium, that is known as retroplacental hematoma. So these are the types of abruptio placenta, or the classification, the two classification of abruptio placenta. Next is etiology of abruptio placenta. The prevalence is more with, means the chances or the risk is more in the case of high birth order, means when the woman is pregnant for the 5th time or more than 5. Advancing age of mother, when the age of mother is increased or more than 35 years, then it increases the risk of abruptio placenta. Plus, if the age of the mother is less than 20 years, then also the risk is increases. Poor socio-economic condition. In the developing countries mostly, the incidence rate or the prevalence rate is high. Why it is high? Because if there is a poor socio-economic conditions, then there is a lack of antenatal care, and if there is a lack of antenatal care, plus if the mother is not taking proper nutrition because of low socio-economic conditions, which leads to anemia, and if there is anemia, which leads to poor implantation of the placenta. If the placenta is poorly attached with the uterus, then there are the chances of easy separation of placenta, which leads to abruptio placenta. Next is malnutrition, again the same mechanism. Next is smoking. Smoking causes the vasospasm. Vasospasm means constrictions in the blood vessels. This is a blood vessel. If this blood vessel is constricted, means narrowing, that increases the pressure here, it builds the pressure here, and when this pressure increases excessively, it leads to the rupture of the blood vessels. If the blood vessel is ruptured, then the blood is leaking and accumulated behind the placenta, and if it is accumulated behind the placenta, it favors the separation of placenta. So next is one of the main cause of abruptio placenta, that is hypertension. Whether it is preeclampsia, gestational hypertension or essential hypertension. In this, vasospasm occurs in the uteroplacental vessels. If vasospasm occur, means if the constriction occurs, if the veins are occluded or obstructed, there will be no blood flow, there will be no further blood flow, which leads to anoxic, means lack of oxygen, endothelial damage. What is endothelial? This is the layer inside the interior layer of the blood vessel. So if there is lack of oxygen, lack of blood supply, there will be anoxic endothelial damage, and if endothelial damage occurs, then what happens? Blood vessel ruptured. So if it is ruptured, the blood is leaked through the ruptured blood vessel and accumulated behind the placenta, which is known as retroplacental hematoma, which favors the separation of placenta. Next is trauma, means any injury which occurs. When it occurs during the external cephalic version, means manually when it is tried to change the lie of the baby under general anesthesia by using a great force, then also there are the chances of separation of placenta. Plus, if there is any accident happen, like road traffic accident, then also, plus falling, and in the case of needle puncture during amniocentesis. As we know that during amniocentesis, a needle is inserted into the amniotic sac to withdraw the sample of amniotic fluid. So while during these 4 causes, maybe the placenta is ruptured, and during trauma, because of trauma, the placenta is usually ruptured from the margins. Next is sudden uterine decompression. Sudden uterine decompression means when the space inside the uterine cavity is decreased. For example, in this diagram, when the baby is growing, the uterine cavity start dilating, uterus is dilates, but because of any cause, because of any reason, this space inside the uterine cavity is decreased. Then from dilatation, what happens? The uterine is relaxed. Opposite of dilatation, relaxation, means the space inside the uterine cavity is decreases, and there are certain causes which decreases the space inside the uterine cavity. What are those? First one is the rupture of membranes. When the membranes are ruptured, it decreases the space inside the uterine cavity. And the second one is in the case of twin pregnancy, when the one baby is born, then the volume inside the uterine cavity is decreases. So if the volume inside the uterine cavity is decreases, suddenly the site where placenta is attached is decreases. If that is decreases, it enhances the separation of placenta, which leads to abruptio placenta. So that is sudden uterine decompression, means relaxation, or when the uterine cavity comes to its normal position. Uterine cavity comes back to its normal position. Next is short cord. In this, the umbilical cord is short. So during the uterine contractions, or when the labor starts, which try to push the baby downward, and when the baby is pushed downward, there will be a mechanical pull by the baby, mechanical pull of the umbilical cord, and when the umbilical cord is pulled, it favors the separation of placenta, which leads to abruptio placenta. Next is supine hypotension syndrome. Supine is a position when the person is lying straight in the supine position. Hypotension, decrease in BP. Syndrome, group of symptoms. So this is a diagram when the woman or when the patient is lying in a supine position. This is the inferior vena cava. So because of the growing uterus, or because of the dilatation of uterus, this vein is compressed, or we can say the uteroplacental veins of the uterus are also compressed. So if the inferior vena cava is compressed, no blood return to the heart, and the blood is accumulated here in the blood which is placed in the uteroplacental bed, it remained accumulated there. And if it is remain accumulated there, there will be increased venous pressure, and due to the increased pressure, the blood vessel is ruptured and the blood is leaked and accumulated behind the placenta, which favors the separation of placenta. Next is placental anomaly, means placental defects. For example, circumvallate placenta. So normally the placenta is attached like this, but in this, the edges of the placenta are raised like this. So these two lines, these are the membranes, amnion and chorion. So this is a circumvallate placenta in which the edges of the placenta are raised. Not only the placenta but the membranes, these are double back. Double back means membranes are going to that direction in which the placenta are. Normally the placenta is situated like this and the membranes are just covering like this. So there is no any raising of placenta and the membranes. So in this case, in the circumvallate placenta, there are the chances of easy separation of placenta, which leads to bleeding. Next is sick placenta. Sick placenta means when the placenta is not properly implanted, whether because of malnutrition, poor socioeconomic condition, or poor formation of decidua. Because if there is malnutrition, then the decidua will not be properly formed. In the case of anemia, the decidua will not be properly formed. If the decidua is not properly formed, then the placenta is not properly attached to the uterine wall, and if it is not properly implanted, then there is a chances of easy separation of placenta, which leads to bleeding. Next is folic acid deficiency. This is also one of the cause of abruptio placenta. Next is uterine factor, means abnormality in the uterus. Here I take the example of septate uterus. This is a partial septate uterus. This is a septum. This is a normal uterus, and here this is a septum which tries to divide the uterine cavity into two parts. This is a partial septate uterus. So if the placenta is attached at the septum, or like this, then it increases the chances of separation of placenta, which as a result the condition developed that is known as abruptio placenta. Next is torsion of uterus. This is also known as dextrorotation, when the gravid uterus is twisted. So because of this twisting or change in the position of the long axis, what happens? Obstruction of the vessels, that is the uteroplacental blood vessels are obstructed, and when the uteroplacental blood vessels are obstructed, then there is a decrease in blood flow. And if these blood vessels are obstructed, for example, this is an obstruction because of the torsion of the uterus, and the blood is overfilled here and it burst, or there will be a rupture of blood vessels, which increases the risk of abruptio placenta. Next is cocaine abuse. Again, it causes the vasospasm. Next is thrombophiliasis, in which the blood clotting protein factor is increased more than normal. Normally this blood clotting protein factor are helping in the formation of clot when there is any injury to the tissues, but in the case of thrombophiliasis, this blood clotting protein factor is increased more than normal, which increases the risk of formation of thrombus, that is clot, in the uteroplacental blood vessels or uteroplacental bed. And again the same mechanism, if there is any obstruction, then the overfilling of the blood vessels occur, which results in the rupture. And last one is prior abruption. If in the previous pregnancy there was a abruptio placenta, then there are the chances that in the next pregnancy there will be the same condition, that is abruptio placenta. So these are the causes of abruptio placenta. Next is pathogenesis of abruptio placenta. Due to etiological factors, means due to various causes which we studied earlier, hemorrhage occurs at the decidua basilis, means bleeding occurs behind the placenta at the site where the placenta is implanted. So due to this bleeding behind the placenta, initiated premature separation of placenta. If there is a blood which is accumulated behind the placenta, it pushes. So because of this push, because of the force exerted by this accumulated blood or this hematoma, the placenta starts separating. So in the early phase, it not affects the uterine wall or placenta, or hardly produces any changes in the uterine wall or on the placenta, but it depends upon the extent of pathology or the extent of separation of placenta. And if the extent is more, then there may be the chances of occurrence of degeneration and necrosis. Degeneration means decline or loss of function of cells, and when the tissues become dead, that is necrosis, because of the lack of the blood supply, because of the lack of the oxygenation. So degeneration and necrosis of decidua bacillus and placenta. So the decidua, where the decidua is the innermost layer during the pregnancy, and where the placenta is attached, that is known as decidua bacillus. Or there may be the chances of rupture of basal plate. So now what is basal plate? This is chorionic plate. And this is basal plate. And because of the lack of blood supply, and because of the vasospasm, because of any reason, because of any cause, if there is no blood supply, there may be the chances of rupture of basal plate. If the basal plate is ruptured, then the hematoma, that is the bleeding or the accumulation of blood, occurs in between the intravillous spaces. So from the placenta, these are chorionic villi which are invading in the decidua for getting the nourishment. So if the basal plate ruptured, this hematoma moves in between the intravillous space. So this is the pathogenesis, that because of etiological factors, hemorrhage occurs at the decidua bacillus, which initiate the premature separation of placenta. Guys, if you have any kind of query, then please ask me in the comment section. I will definitely answer your queries. And if you find my videos useful, then please like my videos and share it with your other friends. So in the next video, that is Abruptio placenta part 2, I will discuss its clinical features, diagnosis and management. So at last, stay safe, stay at home.